Audio on demand from Vision Christian Media.
Exploring faith and the future. Neil Johnson and Bible teacher Dr. Kameel Majdali.
Each day we get a little deeper into this discussion about the culture war. The differences between the conservatives and the progressives. These sorts of debates are raging on a whole lot of different levels. Let's talk about one today, Kameel, and that has to do with attitudes to wealth. What's the difference between the progressives and the conservatives and wealth?
There is a very clear divide between the two sides. The left-leaning progressives, often called liberals, they believe that wealth should be redistributed. In other words, what we learned before, there should be equality of outcomes. Everyone should get the same. It was Barack Obama, I believe, who once said, we need to spread the wealth around. So that's the progressive side. On the conservative side, rather than redistributing wealth, they believe in simply creating more wealth so there's more to share with everybody.
So when we talk about these things as a Christian, Kameel, we might not want to take either side. We might not see that spreading the wealth around is a good thing, but on the other hand, we might not see that creating wealth and bringing that to a place where it distracts us as people of faith, because Jesus warned about wealth. He warned about the way that we have attitudes to money. We might have a different position on all of that.
We can have a different position, and it is important that we get it right biblically. Jesus spoke about money, and in fact, he spoke about money probably more than we realize. And of course, we know from Paul's exhortation that the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. At the same time, in Deuteronomy, God says, I give you power to gain wealth. And so it would be a wise thing to do for all of us to have a sound, Bible-based, dare I call it, theology on money or theology on wealth. And I see it, Neil, as a tool that God gives, that we are able to not only provide for our families, but we're able to make a contribution that is positive in this world. But we're not to be obsessed with wealth. We are certainly not to worship wealth, but to view it as a means to a greater end.
But we're not to fear wealth. And I guess here, Kameel, recognizing that the capacity to create wealth gives capacity to care for the poor. So as Christians, are we moving towards the side of being creators of wealth rather than just distributors of it?
Well, it really depends. There are Christians that are, how should you say, floating towards the progressivist side. They believe in things like what they call social justice, and we've got to help the poor and take care of the environment. I'm not saying we shouldn't do these things, but there is an underlying current that we need to be aware of, an attitude. An attitude to me is almost everything. We can be saying all the right words, but if the attitude is wrong, then we're wrong, even if the cause sounds right. When it comes to issues of wealth and money, we need to get God's perspective. And I still have to remind our listeners, Paul makes this amazingly blunt statement, talking about if a man won't work, neither shall he eat. Wealth and work go hand in hand. We need to treat work as sacred and something God wants. There are exceptions, of course, but let's stay close to the biblical injunction and we can't go wrong.
Faith and the Future with Neil Johnson and Dr. Kameel Majdali from Teach All Nations. Find articles, videos and podcasts from Dr. Kameel, plus today's and other episodes of Faith and the Future in the Vision app or at vision.org.au.
Thanks for taking time to listen to this audio on demand from Vision Christian Media. To find out more about us, go to vision.org.au.